fucking cameras on. I told you to turn both of the cameras on, Tony. Are they on?
Yeah.
All right. You might be fucking wondering why I do the 3 claps so I can sync it later in audio post because I don't have a fucking budget. Because I got to do it myself, Tony. Dude, I'm keeping it funky and fresh. Keeping the shirts like Weekend at Bernie's. I love these shirts, man. Nowhere to go. Nowhere to go.
I thought you were going to go into like a commercial.
Nah, man, I didn't have it. You know what's so funny is I noticed that a lot of times when I'm going into something, there'll be a snap in the thing, and I go, I love da-da-da. And I think this is a commercial, but it's not. But here we are. We're back, and we're going to have a little bit of a drinking session. We got our new little setup back here. We got a little Glenlivet 14 in a glass. Courtesy of Cali Craft Cocktails. So I've been having just a little bit of a drink before we started. I'm going to get my boy JR juiced up, too, because he's nursing a broken ankle. Twisted ankle. Hold on, my friend. Let me pour you nothing but the finest, okay? Yeah, that should do it.
No. Dude, that's a lot.
Don't you fucking no me. Little Glenn Levi. Oh, I didn't pour myself any. What kind of podcast would this be without a little alcohol? Tony, I don't even fucking drink on the weekends, Tony. It's good. Cheers. All right.
That's a little baby cheer.
Oh, yeah, little Glenlivet 14. Oh, I'll put a little hair on your chest. Okay, J.R. John. Guys, welcome back. Here we are, and I made a mistake again. I often make mistakes, as we all do. I should have learned from my lesson. I should have learned from my first lesson.
Fuck you.
How do you even know where I'm going?
I know where you're going.
All right, well, here we go. I made a mistake. I took JR on a hike again. This time, if you were listening last week, he said he didn't know it was going to be a hike. You said a run, not a hike. This time, my buddy J.R. Cruz said he knew damn well that we're going what a hike at Griffith means. And he was on a hike with me last time. He saw what it was. This time he goes, no, Amir, listen, dude. I go, you want to go on a hike before we do the podcast? He goes, of course I do. I've been training. He said, I've been training. All right, so I'm thinking, okay, man. And against my best judgment, I go, let's go for it, dude. Let's go. We'll get a nice little workout in. We'll get nice primed and ready to do the podcast. Get some juices flowing. We go to the mountain. We get there. Looks at it, dude. This guy looks like he's fucking Karate Kid training for his final competition, dude. He looks at it. He goes, takes a deep breath. I even see him. He looks at the mountain. He goes, like it ain't got shit on him. He looked at it, took a deep breath, and went, I think I got this. Like, he did one of those without saying it. I was watching him the whole time. He didn't even know it. Okay? And he's sitting there. We pull up. We park. Guy goes, wrong trail. He's heading toward the wrong trail. I got to guide him. Hey, over here. Over here. Already he's fucked up. He doesn't even know where to go, but he's acting like he's been on the mountain. He's acting like he's a Sherpa, and he's guiding me. You know, to like, here, go this way, because I know the way. Second time he's been on the fucking mountain. So we're going. We go. Everything starts off good. He's got a good pace. My boy's kind of got some breath in him. I'm like, oh, shit. Maybe he is. Maybe he's been training. You know, he was talking about boxing some comedians. Maybe this guy's been training. I don't know about it. We're going. He's doing good, man. He's keeping up. You know, and I'm not running right out the gate. I'm just doing kind of a speed walk. You know, those people you see when they do their arms are moving really fast. Like, their arms are moving fast, but the feet are staying the same speed. JR's doing one of those. I'm doing one of those. And then I kick into a little jog. I go, let me kick up a little jog. I think, you know, you even kicked up the jog. You started the jog.
Yeah.
JR starts the jog. I go, oh, shit, motherfuckers starting with a heavy pace. You know, we got 12 rounds ahead of us. This guy starts to jog. It's like, okay, well, this may be a problem here if he's going to continue this pace. You know, we got a long way to go. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. JR has no regard for this. Okay, and now we're going. I'm like, oh, cool. He's got a good breath. And then I start seeing him, okay, a little fade off a little bit. And I'm like, all right, shit, I'll just keep going. I kick my headphones on. I continue going, dude. Then JR, he does his burst of energy from the rear, dude, like this fucking tortoise in the hare. Because I stopped and I did some push-ups or something. I was trying to do some extracurricular shit, so maybe my boy could catch up. And this fool comes out of nowhere, dude, like on a sprint. So I go, where? Is he doing intervals? Is he stopping and fucking chopping down trees and then continuing the run? That's what I'm thinking, right? Because the way he came up and he took me, like, what, when they take over another car or something in a race and you go, oh, and he kind of made it known that he's coming. And this fool starts doing these speed steps, like these ta-ta-ta-ta. And he starts speed stepping around me. If you think I'm joking, look at this. That's a little stutter step. What the fuck? What does he do? What is he running the 40? He looks like he's doing like, they're scouting him. He's hitting routes. Right in front of me, he's hitting routes. Like, oh, dude, I've been training and this is how it goes. And now he's kind of telling me I'm kicking into that was my warm up. Is what I'm reading, right? So now he's like, oh, the thoroughbred's ready to go. The muscles have been massaged and they're ready to go. And those stutter steps are letting me know like the short twitch muscles are quick too. Or the fast twitch muscles are quick too. That's what those little stutter steps were. Like he's got the range, he's got the marathon muscle, right? For the long haul. And also he's got that little, just in case a little rattlesnake comes, he can go, and he could zip out the way. That's what that stutter step was supposed to tell me. Like, I'm ready for any sort of terrain you throw at me, boss. That's what I'm picking up. So we continue, and his pace is kind of fucking up. I'm like, hey, all right. Every time he goes a little bit, I'll gain on him a little bit, and then he stops, and he's like, all right. And he starts looking around a lot. Now, all of a sudden, because we went a little later than normal, I normally go kind of when the sun's about to drop. So right as I hit the end of the hike, the sun has set. I get to see a beautiful scene of the city. You get to see downtown Los Angeles. And you get to see the sky kind of have that little fiery red color to it. That's what I like to see. So I'm trying to time it like that. But this time I was like, let me wait for JR. Said I'll be there until let me finish. Let me finish, bro. Because he says, I go, hey, JR, I was going to go anyway. But then we always talk and be like, hey, what time you want to do the podcast? And, I was like, hey, you know what? And it was my idea. I go, well, against my better judgment. You want to go for a run? I threw it out there. You want to go for a run? I said run. He knew I meant hike. And he goes, sure, man, because I was about to leave. And if I had left at that time, I would have got to my run at the perfect time. I would have got to my sunset at the perfect time. You need to know this information. Okay? So that's it. He goes, you know what, Amir? I'll be right there, dude. I'll bring a change of clothes. We'll do the run, and then we'll do the podcast. I'll be there in 25 to 30 minutes. That's going to set us back 25. You need to know this. So he gets, JR, good. Hold on. I'll get you that, Your Honor. I'll give you your chance to speak. So we continue, bro. We get to the mountain a little half hour later than I like to normally be there, right? So we're on the run, dude. JR, while we're on the run, interval runs, dude. You'll run a little bit. You might hit, if there's like a little steep area, you might sprint that, just get it out of the way. And, you have that, like, get your blood flowing a little bit better. I like to do that. It's like a little challenge. JR is looking around a lot now. About 20 minutes into our hike, JR is really looking around. And I'm thinking he's taking in the sights, but he's masking his tiredness. Right? Looking around, hey, that's Drew Barrymore's house over there? All of a sudden, he knows facts about the topography. All of a sudden, the guy knows where he's doing. Give me a Star Tours. And he's going, hey, that's Drew Barrymore's house. Offering up all sorts of information I'm not asking for. He's giving me fucking ideas of what plants there are. That's a conifer. Is it a conifer or are you catching your breath? Which one is it, pal?
I'm just knowledgeable.
Dude, this guy had the most knowledge I've ever heard, as if I was like in 6th grade and I was going on my outdoorsman, that thing they do.
Outdoor.
What is, what it's called? What is it called?
You're like your field training.
All right, this is some ISIS shit. No, man, when you're in 6th grade, they take you, it was called,
I went to Pacoima, bro. It didn't take me anywhere.
they didn't take you like for your 6th grade. We were in Orange, man. They took us, it was, what is it called? It was something you always look forward to. The 6th graders got to do it. And they took you
Like your
into,
field trip?
yeah, it was a field trip, but it was like a big one. It was like the one where they take you to the fucking Big Bear, the mountains over here.
Oh, like when you graduate.
You don't graduate. It's 6th grade. So they take you. It's like maybe 2 days. You go camping or some shit.
Oh, yeah, they did do that.
Okay, there you go. And they take
yeah.
you. What is it called?
I don't know what it's called. But
God damn it. And you sing songs. And you remember? You like fucking go.
And the girls and the boys are separated by
yeah,
tents.
exactly. And then you have your little counselor. And then you got the little cabins you sleep in.
Yeah.
It was a really good time, right? And then while you're on the walks, there's some asshole guidance counselor who's doing a JR when he's tired and giving you all this information. Like, oh, you can eat that. It's called Indian grass. You know, or like, hey, that's spearmint. That's regular spearmint. You can chew on that.
The counselors are like 17, 18-year-olds.
Yeah, dude. Probably some pedophile guy. You got little Douglas in the house. Digger's up there. Oh yeah. Where were we, JR?
You were telling lies about going up the mountain.
Cheers, man. Lies. Not true whatsoever, my French. Not true whatsoever, my French. So JR, the guidance counselor, is proceeding to give me all these facts about the environment. We never got what that trip was called. It was something. I'll figure it out later. So we're at the top of the mountain. Now it's starting to get dark. Okay, because we're a half hour late on the hike. But the sunset was gorgeous. You looked at the sky. It was beautiful. Man, oh, here you go. There's a picture of JR right there, right after he gave me some valuable knowledge about the trees in the local area, the arboles, if you will. He gave me some very valuable information right there. There's a shot of him right there. Looking strong. Doesn't look too tired, does he? Looks proud. Be at midway up the mountain. This is before you get to the serious incline, that face right there. So we continue, right? We continue. Now we're hitting the steep spots, dude, the real steep spots. And now I'm just walking up, and I turn around, and before, JR was kind of right there. And I look back. We both had headphones in, so we look at each other and give it a little head nod, like, yeah, you good? Good. Keep going, dude. This time I'm not seeing JR.
May I? There was a lot of people. And see, I like to keep my distance from the people because none of them were wearing masks.
That's a false fact.
No, there was a lot that weren't.
That's a false fact. So now I carry my shirt and I put it over my face as soon as I see people. If I don't have the mask around my neck, I'll put the thing on there because it is a little restrictive when you're getting up there in the top. And a lot of people do that. You know, this deep in a pandemic, wear a mask, you know? Like, the craziest was the fucking guy with the baby. Dude, we're like way up there. And this is like half hour into the hike where it took some work getting up there. And you kind of sometimes even need both hands. You go, hi, motherfucker. You know, you might almost fall and go, ha, shit, bitch. And, you know, we each, you get a little slippage going. So you got to grab like what's next to you, right? So you can't have a fucking baby in your arms.
He didn't even have a...
No, he didn't even have the harness.
Oh.
The Bjorn. He didn't have the baby Bjorn. Guy was just free carrying a baby, dude.
And I hate to admit it, but it was my people.
Yeah, it was a Mexican dude and his wife. And they were like talking like nothing was going on. I'm like, hey, what's that guy who's holding the football? That's cool. He's an athletic guy. You know, maybe he's up there doing some training. This guy's holding a live baby.
With mountain lions.
With mountain lions. And that video just came out of the guy fucking going, get out of here, Kate Cat. Dumb motherfucker. I don't know if you guys saw that video, this video. This guy is getting stalked by a mother cougar, like a mountain lion. And the whole video is him going, get out, you stupid cat. You're stupid, kitty. Throw a fucking rock. Or go, get out of here. That thing that I told you guys in a few podcasts ago, dude. You got to make yourself big. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here, bear. You never turn your back on a mountain lion, ever. Any sort of cat, big prey, or those...
Yeah.
Predators.
Even bears.
Yeah, never turn your back on them because that's when they pounce. That's when they attack. That's why a lot of animals in the wild, for protection, on the back of their ears, they have these little white marks with black dots in them that look like eyes. So it looks like they actually have eyes on the back of their head so the animal won't attack them. If you look, that's something I learned in one of those fucking field trips where I didn't get molested. All right, so that's a fact. Don't do that. But the guy, as soon as he turns around, the cat goes and hisses at him, right? And this dumb fuck just keeps backing up, talking shit, not making himself big, and dropping his phone and going, get the fuck out of here! Get out of here, bear! And the guy could have got murdered right there, mauled to death. You know, it was a mother cougar. Very dangerous animal. So now this is the dark point, man. We got the dude with the baby. He's just up there, pitch black, dude. You know, and it's the mountains, dude. There's rocks. The footing's not sure. You know, and he's just walking with the baby and the fucking lady. And that was part of the traffic jam because we got stuck behind them for a second. I was just like, you know, what do you say? Like, hey, dude, what are you doing? You don't ever want to give someone advice on how to raise their kid. But, dude, come on, man. This ain't the place to be right now.
He reminds me of the dude that I saw at Not Scary Farm with a toddler.
Like, a Not Scary Farm.
Going through the mazes.
Bro, I don't get it. That's like in New Year's, you know, you go to Vegas. I used to go to like every now and then you go to like a place that's super crowded for a New Year's party or something. And then you'd see like people with strollers, like a baby stroller, like at midnight. You're like, what are you doing with the fucking people are spilling beer on the baby's face? It's just places that you shouldn't have a baby. All right. The Strip in Las Vegas on New Year's at midnight is one of them. And another one, the top of Griffith Park. Pitch black. Don't have your baby there. That's all there is to it. You know, we're not experts. I'm not saying I'm a fucking helicopter parent by any means. I don't advocate that. I think that kids should, you know, you learn, you take your licks.
That sounded weird.
You know what I mean? You know, you go outside, you play, you fucking bump your knee, you scrape your legs, you get scabs. You learn not to do that stupid thing again. But that's all by your will, not your fucking stupid dad who's carrying you like a football in the middle of the night in Griffith Park by the observatory. It's fucking JR, dude. JR's out of breath. And now at one point, JR's in front of this family. He's fucking huffing and puffing like he's the coyote and they paid him to fucking cross the border and they got the whole family with him. And JR's going like the fucking coyote's out of shape because he ate too many fucking tortas the night before. That's what it looked like, dude. When I was like sitting there, I go, all right, what's happening here? And you're going,
this is my breathing technique.
Buddy, the breathing techniques, the fucking breathing techniques and that fucking foot pattern he did, the t-t-t-t-t. Maybe I'm a hater, bro. Maybe it's the Glenlivet.
Yeah.
Maybe the alcohol makes me more of a hater.
Yeah. No, it's because to do that technique, it requires strong calves.
Right.
Which we all know you don't have strong calves.
Dude, I told you not to hit me where it hurts. You know? There's a few things, dude. I told you it's my nose. You know, that bothers me. Something I'm very insecure about. My calves. Another thing. You know what? My dad is so insecure about his calves and it got passed on to me. My whole
really? I didn't know you were that insecure about
my
your calves.
family has chicken legs. I'm not insecure about it. I just have really thin legs. Like I have fucking Giselle model legs. All right? I could be a goddamn runway model if I shave my legs, dude. I'm not kidding. I mean, I got really great legs if I was a lady. But unfortunately, I'm a man, dude. So I got these gams, all right, mile-high legs, and the calf is not very pronounced. So, you know, I do running up the hills. I get a little bit better, but it's not much. My dad is hilarious, though, dude. My dad, my whole life, dude. I can't even show this picture of him. It's silly because he'll get fucked up sometimes and he'll just pull his pants down and go, how my legs look? I'm not kidding, dude. Like, because he'd be like, or we'd be out and he'd be like, hey, man, are my legs bigger than his? Bro, it's so funny. And I'm like, Dad, what the fuck, dude? What are you even talking about? He's like, oh, are my calves bigger than? And he'd always measure his calves with like a little thing and he'd like work them out, you know? But he was really self-conscious about his calves. But it got passed on. My brother has chicken legs. I got chicken legs. I don't give a fuck.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, man, you had to bring it up. Now, there's some guys like you, fucking short port, can't run up a mountain. It doesn't make sense. I got friends got fucking monster calves, but they can't keep up with the fucking sprint. It's like, what are these calves for? Anyways, man.
A little more.
We're at the mountain, dude. And now we're on our way down. We're on our way down. We're on our way down from the mountain. Okay. This is the descent. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're on the descent. And now it's dark. Dark out. But you know what you do when it's dark and you're on a hike? You just let it play out because your eyes will adjust. Your eyes will adjust. Now, the one thing is, we're looking at this beautiful cityscape, right? So if you look at that and your eyes get fucked up from all the lights, you look back down on the ground, it's kind of dark. So you got to kind of just stay focused on the ground. Look where you're going. And we're walking. At this point, JR and I are right side by side. We're walking, talking about what's going to happen. You know, what time you want to do the podcast? You want to grab some food? Oh, sounds great. And all of a sudden, as if a ghost came out of nowhere, all I hear, and JR drops from out of my sight. I go, where the fuck did he go? Drops out of the sight. I look over. My boy's rolled his ankle. Just rolled his ankle out of nowhere. Nobody pushed him. He just goes, get up. Literally, that was it. And now I'm thinking, holy shit, we're going to have to helicopter this guy out of here. We're going to have to fucking get him a medevac. Evacuate him from the side of the mountain, you know, then you're like, oh, how did this asshole get stuck here? You know when you see the helicopter picking up somebody from the side of the hill, you go, how do you get stuck there? What happened?
You want me to tell you what really happened?
Oh, here we go.
First of all,
go ahead.
I got here way before 25 minutes. Call Amir, and then I go, hey, I'm outside. He's like, I'm in the toilet.
Oh, you got to take a dump. You got to take a dump. JR has a peculiar talent of getting here the moment.
Always.
The moment I go, let me just use the restroom for 3 seconds, dude. If I unzip my pants, you hear zzz, you hear, Amir, you hear a knock at the door. Amir. The moment I unzip my pants. I don't know if that's a technique he learned from all the cruising spots. I don't know if that's just something he's used to doing. I have no clue. But go ahead.
We get there, right? And we're going great. We're going great. And I take my phone out, and I'm using my phone as a guided light.
This is the descent.
For the descent. And then Amir goes, which I shouldn't have listened. He goes, hey, turn it off. Let your eyes adjust. Well, my eyes fucking didn't adjust. That's why I fucking rolled my ankle.
Dog, if there's a man with his wife carrying a baby in the pitch black 40 feet in front of us, and that guy hasn't rolled his ankle, you tell me how you, an able-bodied 46-year-old,
Fuck you.
Well, you fucking walk like a 46-year-old. Fucking 30-year-old, 35-year-old. How old are you, man?
Hey, fool, that's
we're
my
in
age
Hollywood.
is not coming into play.
We're in Hollywood. He can't say his real age. He's fucking 63.
You just sounded like a fucking like a lawyer right now.
That's
shitty
right.
lawyer.
Well, I'm making my case, pal. So if that man with a baby and a wife doesn't drop the kid, is it too much to ask that you don't roll your fucking ankle on a
Look,
goddamn...
I rolled my ankle, but I will say I didn't know what to do because I was in pain. I was in a jolt of pain, and you came in quick with, tie it up real quick. I did that, and that kind of did save me.
What would you do without me, JR? And that's the theme. I mean, this podcast could be called What Could You Do Without Me? JR Cruz, what would you do without me? Motherfucker. Dude, I came out like Tennessee Williams. I go, wrap it up. Like the guy fucking smoking a pipe on the farm, you know? And you get bit by a rattler. Suck it out. Wrap it up. That's how I answered him, dude. But no, you wrap up the thing. Like if you ever roll your ankle, guys, if you're listening to this, I did it 1,000 times playing basketball. We talked about that. We'd always wear ankle braces when you got older. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't play basketball without ankle braces on because I'd roll my ankle so easily. You know, like my legs are fucking dainty, dude. So they roll easy. And after a while, every time I'd play, if I didn't have enough ankle support, it would just roll over. But yeah, as soon as you roll the ankle, if you even feel it a little bit, because, you know, once you get used to what the feeling is of rolling it, you don't like just lay into it all the way.
Yeah.
So like you kind of saved your ankle. I feel
Yeah,
like when you
I
did
did,
it, you
'cause I
felt
went like
it
that,
and
I
you
jumped
lifted it
up.
real, yeah. But then right when that happens, in order to like keep the inflammation down, you just tie your shoe really tight. And then when you get home, put ice on it. I always heard that was the best way to do it. So I think that helped a little bit.
Yeah, I did. It's a little bit swollen, but it's doable. I can move it. Good.
Yeah, it'll be
Rice.
fine. In a few days, I think you'll be just fine, dude. And then
Raise, ice, compress, elevate.
what is it? Raise? Ice?
Raise, ice, compress, elevate.
No, is it
Oh,
rest?
rest.
Dude, this is a typical fucking JR, dude. Rice. Raisins, ice, carrots. Dude, you'll just make it up. And I don't even, it's
dude.
rest.
It is rest. Rest, ice, compress, elevate.
Oh, you were right. Rice, rest, ice, compression, and elevation. That's it. You were right.
Yeah.
All right.
Cheers.
Now we're done with the hike. We get back in the car, worked up a good appetite. What should we eat? Look on my phone, see what restaurants are in the area. Rafi's 3 miles away. Rafi's is one of my favorite spots to eat. JR likes the place too. I've taken him there a bunch of times. It's a Persian place. Talked about it on the podcast before. One of the best Persian spots you can go to. I think it might be Armenian owned, but it's definitely Persian food, and it's fucking delicious. It's always busy, but you know, you got to expect that from a place that's really good. So we go, you know what? It's 3 miles away, dude. I'm fucking craving some Persian food. JR's like, damn, that sounds so good. Let's go. We go. It's 8 o'clock. I'm like, all right, maybe a little busy, but fuck it. We'll wait a little bit. You know, I got some shit to look at. I got some work to do. I got a little audition to prepare for. Whatever. So we get there. We get to the spot. It's super busy. I go, you know what? Let me jump out first while you park the car right there. And I'll put our name in and get a reservation. You know, and when we go there, I'll get you some ice in a bag and we'll wrap your ankle. All right, that's going to be a good idea. He goes, yeah, it's perfect. I get there. I go to the front. So many people waiting. There's tons of people waiting to pick up their food just to go. I'm like, dude, what is going on? This is crazy. I've never seen it this busy. Maybe I've never come at this time. You know, I usually come later maybe. So I go, okay, I put my name in. He goes, yes. How long's the wait? She goes, it's about an hour to 90 minutes. I go, holy shit. But again, I'm like, you know what? Let me just do it. You know, we can work on some of the other.
Sometimes they lie to you too. Sometimes they.
Yeah, sometimes they like to you know, like you go to like a lot of places and they'll go, it's an hour, and they'll call you in like, you know, 55 minutes. You know, they overestimate so you feel good when they call you earlier. You know, so they don't want to overpromise you or whatever. So anyways, but put the name in. And JR's walking up and I go, dude, it's going to be like, you know, hour or 90 minutes, but you know, fuck it. Let's work on some other stuff. And so we're sitting there, we agree to do it. But JR's like, oh yeah, let me get the ice. So JR goes inside to get the ice and he goes, asks the same lady I just put my name and went, hey, think I can get some ice? She goes, sure. I'll go get you a bag of ice. Grabs him a bag of ice and comes back and goes, hey, did you put your name in? And he says, yeah. What did you do?
Yeah. So she's like, oh, did you put your name in? And I go, oh, yeah, I'm with Amir. She goes, just the two of you?
Right.
And I go, yes. And she goes, is that Amir K, the comedian? That's what she said. And I go, oh, yeah, we're both comedians.
That's the funny part, too, where you threw that in.
No, this is what she tells me. She goes, oh, I love his comedy. She loves him, too. And she pointed to the girl. And then she goes, she made it known. I don't know who you are. She made it known. She made it known that she doesn't know who I am. And then she goes, let me see what I can do and get you guys in. And I go,
right.
Oh, okay, thank you. And then I thank the other girl for the bag of ice.
Right.
Right? And then I come back to you.
This guy comes back to me. He's got the bag of ice, first of all. And there's a bunch of people waiting. This fool looks at me and goes, and he does a wink and goes, dude, we're good. He fucking looks at me and goes, dude, we're good. She knows who you are. She said, is that Amir K? And then I start feeling a little gassed up. This fool's gassing me. I go, oh, yeah, man, that goes. Like, we out here. So I'm feeling good. I go, oh, this is great. Dude, we'll be in fucking 10 minutes. Right? And I'm looking at JR and I'm my head's getting a little bigger maybe. And I'm going, oh, this is cool, man. And I'm looking around, like waving at people they don't know who I am. Hey, how you doing, man? Yeah. Just came from a hike. I look like shit, We look like shit.
We also see 2 chairs. That's our names. They got our names
Dude,
on it.
2 chairs by the trash cans. What a better location for me and my buddy. Where the employees would take a break and have cigarettes. Those are the 2 chairs. We saw them. But before we go there, JR doesn't say nothing. Middle of everybody, dude. This fool fucking gets on the floor and starts rapping. I don't know where he got the tape. This fool came with industrial-sized tape and starts wrapping his ankle right in front of the restaurant where he just put our name in and said, hey, man, we'll be waiting right there while I'm going to be doing a makeshift fucking hospital for you right there, like an intensive care unit right here. He starts fucking wrapping his ankle like he's a fucking injured FedEx driver on a route. Just wrap, and you hear the tape. Look. I'm not making it up. This is what he was doing. He was doing that in the middle of the whole thing. Now, you might call me an asshole for thinking this is weird, but dog, we had chairs in the corner. We could have done it over on the side. Sits down like it was fucking emergency surgery and starts rapping what was going on to that?
Well, I just thought in my head, like, I got to get ice on it as fast as possible.
Dog, we could have waited another 10 seconds to walk away from the people. Dude, this dude does it in the middle. There's fucking valet guys jumping over him. He didn't even get off to the side. He sat down, and there's valet guys walking and running over him, dude. And we're waiting for our fucking table. So I'm thinking we're going to get our table super quick. JR came in with the good news. He did the fucking ankle wrap episode. I'm like, all right, cool, dude. No worries. We're going to get in there in no time. We go sit down. We start looking over this audition thing that I'm working on. JR's helping me read it. We're working. I'm looking at my phone. My phone's starting to lose juice. I'm like, dude, it's been about 30 minutes, 60 to 90 minutes. I thought the hookup would be like 30 minutes. I don't want to go say anything, but I was like, let me go check. Let me go see what's up. My phone's going to die. I might as well tell them. My phone's going to die because it's one of those things where you go in there and you put your name and then you give them your number and they text you. So now if my phone dies and they text, how the fuck do I know if the table's ready? You know what I mean? So I'm like, let me go tell them. I'm going to do them a service by telling them my phone's going to die. So maybe if I go and tell them my phone's going to die, they go, oh, my God, we were looking for you. That's what I think's happening in my head. So I go, let me go over there and just let them know. A little nudge, friendly nudge. Hey, phone's going to die. By the way, how much longer? She stonewalls me. Like, as if she didn't know who the fuck I was. I go over there. I don't know if she's playing hard to get, this lady. But she goes, hey. And I go, hi. And I never want to presume anybody knows me or assume. What do you call it?
Yeah,
Assume. I don't know why I asked. Presume?
Let's assume.
Yeah, I don't want to assume that anybody knows me. So I go over there and I'm like, JR just told me this lady's like, oh, I'm a big fan, So I'm like trying to be like, hey, and she acted like she's never seen me in her life. So I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, okay. But I go there and I go, hey, how you doing?
You thought she was gonna ask for a picture,
dog. I thought it was gonna be like, I thought it was gonna be one of those things where they go, oh my God, Amir, no problem. I love your comedy. Let me walk you over there. I go there. It's like fucking talking to a stranger, like somebody I'm bothering. And she's like, hello. And I'm like, yes. I go, I'm so sorry. My phone's about to die. Can you tell me how much longer it is? And she goes, would you like to give another number? And I was like, oh, fine. I was like, oh, okay. I go, yeah, let me give you my friend JR, the other guy I'm with. And she goes, oh. I swear to God. She goes, oh, the other comedian. That's why I was laughing in the beginning, because I felt like you went over there and you go, hey, man, we need a table right now. That's Amir K, and he's a comedian.
Why would I say say that.
And so am I.
Well, before you, here's the thing. When we walked back in to get our table, that wasn't the same girl that I talked to.
That explains everything. That explains everything, man.
So when they gave us our table, that wasn't the girl that I talked to.
Oh, dude, that explains everything. Because when I went back there, she acted like whatever. And I think she was annoyed that the other girl wanted to hook it up. That's what I think happened.
Yeah.
And I think she was playing it by the book because I could tell she wasn't an Amir K fan. I know my audience, bro. She was like, what? I was like, oh, my phone's going to die. I just wanted to know when. And then she also goes, yeah, we're going to try to get you in earlier. Like that. And I was like,
oh, that's what it was.
And then
so
we
they
ended
were trying to get, but they...
Well, who knows, man? Who knows? Doogie. Whatever, dude. It was a funny-ass experience, man. We had a good meal. Oh, my God. Then we end up getting in there. And we're like, why the fuck? And it's just so busy because I said, can we get some to-go food? And the lady goes, it's 3 hours for that. So if you want to order to-go, you're going to have to wait 3 hours. And we're like, what the fuck? And no one tells us why. I'm just thinking, damn, it's a busy-ass night. Then we get inside. Waiter comes up after about an hour and 10, something like that, hour, maybe whatever we were waiting. And the waiter, first thing he goes, how long do you guys wait?
You're sick.
Like they're all in on it. And I go, I don't know, an hour and 10 minutes or something. He goes, oh, ooh. And we go, what's up? And he tells us all the proceeds go to the Armenian situation going on right now. And that's why everyone's here. And I'm like, oh my God, no one bothered to tell us, like from the beginning to the end, that's why it was abnormally busy today. And if you live in LA, you know there's protests and stuff going on all week. I mean, there's Armenians shutting it down, dude. Like they're just fucking pulling up, and it's all nice cars, BMWs, Mercedes, G-Wagons, fucking pulling up and just middle of the road, shutting it down, brother. And they have their flags on the cars, and they're letting you know that they're pissed about what's happening. And I know there's always two sides of the story. I'm not educated about this situation whatsoever, so I'm not going to speak on it. I don't know what's going on, man. I'm not a political comic. Never said I was. I like to have fun and goof off. That's what I like to do. I know you may say it's a little immature, but I'm a fucking baby. I'm a little child, dude, and I feel young and I feel like a kid. I don't like to address serious issues because I don't know what the fuck is going on. And I've always said that, and I've never claimed to be anybody that I'm not, other than one time.
One time.
I'm just kidding. I've probably done that a lot of times, trying to fit in. Dude, this week was so fun, man. This last week, I did a little fishing. Nothing like being solo on the water, man. It feels really like I'm a fucking sea captain, bro. I'm not kidding, dude. I'm out there, I'm like, batten down the hatches. I'm like giving myself little jobs, you know. I'm smoking a cigarette, maybe. I'm starting to get everything down and do it all fast, man. I'm like getting out on the waterway quicker. I got my poles rigged up quicker. I get to the bait barge quicker, get my bait quicker. The bait barge is this. It's a little station in the middle of the water that you pick up your bait at. So there's these dudes out there that like give you scoops of bait into your live well. Live well's a little container in your boat that keeps like your live bait alive. So it like kicks water in there and a little bit of oxygen and keeps the water flowing. And so your bait stays alive. And when you fish, you want the bait to be really active and live. Now, as soon as they start dying and shit, it's just not very good bait anymore to use in the water. So I got all my stuff, man. I'm on the water. I'm having a great day. First cast, first fish, and it's just fun, dude. And it's like the earlier you get out there, the better because the water's calm. There's not that many people out there. And then you start to see guys that you recognize. You're like, oh, shit, what's up, man? You know, like just taking it all in, looking around. There's so much cool stuff to see. You know, dolphins pop up. You're looking at the dolphins. The birds, the pelicans are sitting on the rocks, and they're a little giveaway of where the life is, where the fish may be. Like if you see a lot of birds, maybe there's fish there. So it's all cool little tricks and stuff that you start to learn as you're more and more on the water, and the more salty you get. That's what they call it, dude. They call it being salty. Like there's like when guys talk about like, oh, this guy, he's way saltier than I am. That means he's been on the water longer, So it's kind of a cool little thing that they do. They're like, fun. Yeah, man, this guy's super way saltier than me. I heard him say that. And I was like, well, I got a podcast. I never said that. Never said that once. But I thought it was. I mean, in my head, I go, "Oh, that's kind of cool." You know? So I'm out there, dude, and all of a sudden I see this like little seal, and it's like this little. And I always say Doogie looks like a seal, dude. And it's this little fucking water Doogie, and he's just chilling out there. And I see him. He's like got this little personality, and he's like about maybe 50 yards out from me, and he's like doing these things, and you can see him because they're like, if there's bait fish in the water, they might be attacking the bait fish or going around where the fishing boats are to try to get bait that you throw out. Like if I am done with a sardine, if it doesn't work anymore, I'll throw out that bait, and then the sea lion will go and grab it. So this little seal, this little Doogie, he keeps like swimming around, and then he gets really close to my boat, and I'm like, oh shit. And I just thrown like a fish over, and I see him eat it. And I'm like, oh damn, he's like coming to eat the baits. And he was the cutest little guy, dude. I have like a bunch of video of this guy. This is what he looks like. And he was getting like right up there where like he was like a fucking circus seal, you know? Like he would just come up, and as soon as I like walk over, he'd go and he'd like get up. And I'm like, dude, he's like a little water Doogie. And he was like my little homie.
Get in the live well, get a fish, and feed my Doogie. Hey! Good boy, buddy.
And so I gave him a couple fish, you know. I'm like, I don't know what the policy is on that. I don't know. Maybe you're not supposed to. And I'm sure I'm going to get comments like, don't feed the wildlife. Like, I know, you motherfucker. But this guy knew what he was doing, you know? He was like a domesticated fucking seal. And he was chilling, and I was super careful, obviously, not to have my engine on around him or whatever. But you can tell seals are very smart animals. So are dolphins. They don't eat, like if you throw a bait out and it's got a hook in the nose of the fish, they won't eat it. Like, we throw 1,000 baits out there, a seal will never take it. Because they're smart enough to see that there's a line in it and a hook and all that. They have that cognitive awareness, apparently. And he was just hanging out, and I wasn't throwing him food anymore. You know, I threw him a few baits early on. And then I did throw him a barracuda, though. I threw him a big-ass barracuda because he was eyeing it. And I'm like, dude, will this fucking guy eat this? And he fucking shredded this thing up. And it was really cool to have the guy there. And then I would take off, and I was like, all right, man. And I just went to a different spot around the oil rig, and the guy followed me, dude. Here's the video of him. Like, look at him. He just is jumping, like, behind me and coming. Like, he just keeps coming. And then every time I'd stop, dude, for 5 hours, every time I'd stop, he'd go, psh, and he'd, like, jump up right to the side of me. And he would wait for more fish. And I would just talk to him, like, in between fish, like, catching fish. I'd talk to him. But it was fucking awesome, dude. It was so cool. And so when I go back, I hope I get to see him again. And then eventually maybe film a documentary. My life with the sea Doogie. Sea Douglas.
Have you seen My Octopus Teacher?
Buddy, My Octopus Teacher is exactly, there's a Netflix documentary called My Octopus Teacher. And that's what I was thinking the whole time. I thought I was that fucking guy, dude. Yeah, I thought it was him. I was like, my octopus is back, you know? And I was talking to him and shit. And there's a video where, like, they're wild animals, dude. You know, you get too friendly and the guy bites my nose off. You know what I mean? And he almost did. Like, look at this video.
What's this? What you want, Doogie? You want some more fishes? Ah!
He fucking scared the shit out of me, dude. He popped out of the water so fast. He moved so quick. I was so impressed by how fast he moved. And he was so accurate. I'd throw the thing and he'd just catch it. He'd like catch the sardine just out of the sky. Dude, he was the cutest little guy. And he would just sit there and side eye my ass. He'd like look at me. Look at this picture. Look, dude, every time I caught a fish, because I'd like take a picture before I released the fish, you know, I'd like take a picture or something. Look at this one. This is awesome. Can you see that? How he like snuck up? But this is a calico bass, like a little calico bass. And he was just behind me and he was like, come on, motherfucker, throw me that fish. He's just like, look at me. And so I hope I get to see him the next time I go out. We'll see what's up.
You sound sad.
No, I'm not sad. I mean, I know there's probably people that are like, don't fuck with the sea life. But always when I was a kid, I wanted to have like a dolphin as a pet or some shit. You never wanted a wild animal as a pet?
No.
Dog, you're so whack. You're fucking whack.
I saw what wild animals do. You saw Free Willy and Flipper.
When I was a real little kid, bro, I was probably in 3rd grade. I remember my plan was to move to Australia, live off bananas. I don't even know if they have bananas there. Dog, I swear to God. And I was like, I'll live off the bananas. I remember telling my friend, I told my friend David, I go, David, I'm going to get a fucking monkey. All right, fool, listen to me. I'm going to get a monkey and we're going to go live off the bananas, dog. The monkey already likes bananas. I can get used to them. And we'll live off the bananas and we'll be cool. And he goes, where? I go, Australia, of course. I had no idea, man. 3rd grade.
That's fucking
Because we
crazy.
just learned about spider monkeys. You know, the little guys, the little
yeah.
dudes that, and they like talk and shit. And you can train them apparently really good. So I always wanted one of those. I can't believe you didn't like wildlife, dude.
No. I mean, I no. I like dogs. That's all. That's the extent. Dogs, dude.
Well, that's this episode, man. I forgot to tell you about that, man. So anybody, if you're at Rafi's, dude, I don't mean to shit on you by any means, okay? The time was the time, and that's fine. And I learned my lesson, certainly, about talking shit at any capacity on anybody at any facility or any service that could potentially listen to this. All right? JR, I don't know if you remember, but there was a situation I had with Geico where there was an accident with my car. Somebody hit my car, and then they were the insurance company that was handling the case.
Oh, shit.
Dude, so I fucking went on here and I talked shit about Geico, which at that time I was pissed about it, dude. They were trying to fucking do shortcuts and not pay the full amount for whatever car. And I took it to the body shop, and the body shop was like saying they needed way more money, and the Geico was being cheap about it. So I was like, man, fuck Geico, blah, 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 blah. And then I talked to the insurance adjuster through the process. And I was talking to the insurance adjuster, and at some point the guy got my email, you know, and it's like Amir Comedy, you know, .com, whatever. And so the guy probably looked me up. So if he looked up AmirComedy.com, he goes on there, obviously the podcast. And I think the latest podcast, I just shit on Geico and him in particular. I go, that's adjuster. I go, blah, 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 whatever I said. And so now cut to after the car's fixed, everything is done. And it turned out that the body shop was kind of fucking lagging, and they kind of fucked up some stuff, and like they mismatched some paint, and you know, didn't do the work that I thought they were going to do. And I thought they were this great shop based on the reviews. And again, I always look at reviews. Let that be a lesson to you guys. It's not always accurate, dude. You know, these reviews, they pressure people sometimes into doing reviews. And certainly this company was like, as soon as I was done, they're like, how do you rate your fucking service? And the guy would, you know, suck up to you so you'd feel good about it. But then the work wasn't the greatest, you know? So I was like, fuck. And I'm very nitpicky about my car, for example. And they had mismatched the paint on the bumper. I'm like, fucking shit. And the wheel that they repaired wasn't done right, you know? So it turned out that the adjuster guy was really working hard to make this thing happen. And then the shop was really fucking the insurance company, you know? I don't know. They were like, you know, they kept going back with stuff and charging more. I guess the adjuster was telling me they were like charging an hour labor for rolling my windows up and down. Like that was one of the line items. And he's like, and the guy, the adjuster was like, Amir, does that sound normal to you? And I go, no, I don't know anything about this. But I didn't want to jam up the shop. You know, I don't know how they make protocol, but they were trying to make their money or something, you know? So they were charging everything for you know, rolling the windows up, balancing the tire, 45 minutes for one tire, like it was shit like that. And so I was like, yeah, it doesn't sound right after a while. I'm like, dude, yeah. So at the end of it, my opinion changed about the shop and the guy. So it shifted. And now I have to settle up with the shop at the very end of it, you know? And they ended up fucking like giving me my car back, not fixed, you know? So now I'm back to square one where I needed all the stuff that I needed to get fixed with anyway. And I felt like a dumbass because I was like shitty to the adjuster in the beginning. And I had fucking talked about it on the podcast. Like literally I start one of the podcasts by like, fuck Geico. I think that's how the podcast starts. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm going to hang up with the guy after we settle it all up. And it's the last time I talked to the adjuster. And he's like, dude, I'm sorry to hear what happened with the shop, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, dude, thanks for doing business with Geico. I hope, you know, we get your business in the future or something because they're not my insurance company. And I go, oh, thanks, bud. And he goes, oh, by the way, I like your podcast. And I was like, oh man, I felt so caught. I go, that's so funny. I didn't know what to say. And I know he was saying that, but just to say like, hey dude, I listened to it. You know, like, you know, I should do that. I should tell him like, hey dude, I redeemed your your service. Because he was actually he was doing his job, you know, and at sometimes you can get frustrated with people because you like, especially me, because I think everyone's trying to screw me over. I thought he was getting out of paying for the repairs. That's what I thought. Because I think everyone's trying to screw me over. I've already told you I'm sick. I'm sick. You guys know that if you listen to this podcast. So I definitely will reach out to him or somebody and be like, hey, dude, or email him with the link to this and be like, dude, I had to clear your name. And Geico, they apparently operate, a decent business or whatever.
People are going to say you're getting paid by Geico.
I'm not getting paid by anybody, dude. All right? I'm losing money doing this podcast. The hair is starting to look so old. Do I look old to you? It's so funny. Listen to me, JR. It's so funny because when I look in the mirror, I see a young guy. You know what I mean? I see a young guy.
Young little stallion.
A little stallion, bro. A little gray hair, don't care, But sometimes I feel like when younger kids will look at me, they're like, "Who the fuck is this old guy?" Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
I never thought that I would be. I thought by the time, you get a little bit older, you figure out like what the fuck's going on. Nobody knows what's happening. Even like 60-year-old guys don't know what's happening. You know what I mean?
It's that saying, when you're young, you think you know everything. When you're old, you know you don't know shit.
Damn, that was dope. Yeah, that's true. That was one time JR came with a fucking legit quote. Even Doogie was excited about that one.
Yeah, thanks, Doogie.
Sorry.